All right, welcome to American Hammers TV. Another great night with this time two supporters with us. We have John, who lives not far from where our friend Wally lives, outside of Philadelphia, and
Hey, Philly.
we have Chris, who is in my home state. Taking a drink early. You're gonna take a drink early tonight. I'll go ahead and mention it. My home state of Texas. There you can drink. So I've said Texas.
You're gonna do it. You're gonna do it already. Give me a little bit of, a bit of a head start there. I have to put the drink up.
Oh, as if you haven't had you've got a head start already. I know that. You always got the Jameson. You know, Howard Cosell. Like the further we get into it, the more you got going. But there you go. So Chris is in Houston, and we're happy to have those guys here. So let's talk about our stuff we always talk about at the beginning of the show. Drinkware Design, our friends down in Plano who make the great mugs, custom mugs, and engraved gifts and that sort of thing. Please take a look at Drinkware Design. Fantastic merchandise there. Also, I don't want to beg or anything, but please buy an American Hammers TV scarf. If you go to our website, if you go to AmericanHammersTV.us, I apologize for the state of the website, but it does exist, and there is a link to where you can buy our scarves. They're really cool. We need to sell a few more in order to actually get them made. Everybody who's ordered them so far, we appreciate it, but those are pre-orders because we actually have to sell a few more to get them made. So please buy a scarf. They're great. I'm going to buy one when I get paid on Friday, so I'm going to put my money where my mouth is on that.
I'm gonna let you buy me one as well, Lee.
Oh, are you? That's a real privilege. That's a real privilege.
Scarves for everyone, just like Oprah.
Yeah, I'm not sure we do that. That's
I'm gonna add it to the collection behind me.
The real opportunity that I'm glad I can take advantage of. Yeah, and also check out our website for our T-shirt campaigns are still going on the Bonfire site. There's a link to that. I'm sure there's something I'm forgetting to mention. It'll come to me later on. But for the time being, let's stop wasting time and let's welcome John and Chris. How you doing, guys?
Very good. How are you doing?
I'm okay. Yeah, I'm all right. Chris, that shirt is nice. That is
yeah,
it's an old one.
1980, right?
Yeah, this is the FA Cup one. It was on a deal from the West Ham store. 16 quid.
Really?
Easy money. Oh yeah.
Wow,
and they have all the sizes, even for us big boys.
That's good to know.
Not quite all the sizes. They don't have them going up to triple X, mate. Unfortunately.
No. Well,
actually, they did. Yeah.
They did.
Oh yeah.
Oh blimey.
There you go. We both missed an opportunity there. So I did not know that was happening, or I would have jumped on and bought one myself. But the new away shirts are pretty similar, so I might end up with one of those and pretty much do the same thing.
Yeah,
all right,
this is my way of getting a bargain.
No, absolutely. And listen, I never talk politics on the show, obviously, but I'm just waiting for Brexit to happen so the pound can tank, and I can just buy all the West Ham stuff I want when the dollar is.
What makes you think the pound's going to tank?
Well, I don't know.
Brexit, the best bloody thing that could ever happen to Britain.
I think you mean tank even more. It's like down to 1.2 now.
I'm just saying when the dollar is worth like 17 pounds, I'm going to buy all the West Ham stuff I can possibly buy. So get it done, Boris. Anyway, I actually have really no idea what the ramifications of Brexit would be. I'm just hoping for cheap West Ham stuff.
I don't think anybody has a clue.
No, I don't think so either. All right, so I tell you what, let's start. John, you're a proper Englishman. Let's start with you. Give us your background and how you became a West Ham fan.
Sure, yeah. Like I told you pre-show, I'm from Swindon originally, which is in the southwest of England, about an hour west of London. My dad is a West Ham fan. He inflicted me with that curse when I was probably 5 or 6.
Yeah, seriously, right?
Yeah, West Ham versus Charlton. I think it was like 92, 93 was the season, or 93, 94. And, you had the greats like Ludo in goal back then. And we were in the West End at the time. We were just watching over the pitch. I took it all in, and that was it. I was smitten from that day. And, ever since that day, we would take trips up 5, 6 a year to Upton Park. And in those days, we were down in Division 2. So we could go to Oxford, we could go to Reading and other places nearby. That's, we could follow them home and away around the south. So,
the old Division 2. I miss those old days. I'm not too sure that I still like this Premiership lark. Still don't.
I don't like how they treat like there's no history before the Premiership existed.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I mean.
It's a double-edged sword. It's it's got its downfalls, but at the same time, you know, we wouldn't be watching it 3,000 miles away if it wasn't so capitalized and merchandised and everything else.
Very true. Very true.
The only reason I'm able to be a West Ham fan is because of the Premiership. On the other hand, I really wish I could have been there in the days before the Premiership when it was proper football, First Division, Second Division, and the money wasn't quite what it is now, and the crowds were a little rowdier, and the football was saltier. I wish I could have been in that. I wish I could have seen that and been part of that. So
I'm very happily, I did get to see West Ham before all seaters came in England.
Really?
We still had stands, and there was, you know, the sway of the crowd and everything. I do miss that a lot, I will say. Even though I was very young, you know, you still got a real feel for it, and the atmosphere was it was electric.
The only time I got to experience that on a small scale was when I was in Munich some years ago, and I went to a Bayern match because I didn't have anything else to do. Went to a Bayern match, and I bought the cheapest ticket available, which turned out to be sitting with the Hamburg supporters, who were the away supporters, and that was it's like a safe standing area. So not quite like the old terraces, but, you know, still standing the whole time. And that was a fun time. That was a lot of fun. I still watch Hamburg's results to this day, even though they got relegated a couple of years ago. Because I had such a good time with those guys that night in the away end. But as I said before the show started, John, there's two things I know about Swindon, about your hometown. One is it was where the other branch of the office was of Warnham Hogg, on the original office. They were in Slough, and the other branch was in Swindon.
The only real office, to be honest. Let's be honest here. It's the only real good one.
I like them both. They're just very different. Ricky Gervais is kind of a dick.
Yeah, that's why he was perfect for it, wasn't it? I mean, I love him.
Why he's so good in the role is because as a human being, he's sort of not the greatest, but he was great as David Brent. The other thing I know about Swindon is I got stuck on a train there once. I don't remember what it was. I had to make a transfer or something, headed somewhere in England. Maybe it was to Bath. I think it was to Bath.
That's likely.
And we sat in Swindon for like an hour, maybe 2 hours on the train because the conductor had lost his keys. Had to go home.
He probably went out for a pint.
He probably did, in which case I don't really blame him. Anyway, that's my experience with Swindon. But you said you were from an East End family, so they dragged you into it. How did you end up outside of Philadelphia?
I mean, to boil a long story down, make it short, you know, I kind of moved over when I was 16, got lots of family here, especially up in the northeast of Pennsylvania, and you know, I'm a proud alumnus of Penn State.
Okay.
Ended up going there, and you know, just been since. So we're here in the Philadelphia area. Me, my wife, and my dog.
I saw your wife walk past a few minutes ago. She got, I think it was before we started the show live, but she got a little cameo in there. All right, Chris, let's go down to you. You sound much more like a native Texan than somebody from Swindon. How's your?
He's not. Don't let the accent fool you.
I'm not from Texas at all. I'm originally from California.
Oh, okay. Well.
Yeah.
Oh, you're not the first person to move from California to Texas, by the way.
Yeah, we've got a lot of them down here now.
They're pushing us out, so that's how it works.
Yeah. It's a big. I remember my friends in Austin complaining about that in the '90s. That all of San Francisco and all of the Bay Area was moving to Austin for like cheaper housing and and better weather actually. But so how did you get into West Ham?
My dad is originally from Essex, and so West Ham was his team. So he raised us in the same way. So this is kind of like the child abuse episode with me and John.
Yeah, you want to talk child abuse? My first match, my granddad took me, and I remember those old metal railings you used to have to stand up against that you were just talking about there, John, in the standing only areas. And I remember my granddad tapping all this cigarette ash on the top of my bloody head. It was like, he was like.
Well, your granddad tapped it on your head? He did it?
He wasn't doing it on purpose. Just like he was getting so much getting into the game. It's, you had a pork pie in one hand and his cigarette in the other hand, and he just kept going like that with it.
Is that what happened to the top there?
No, that was a firework in primary school, I think.
Was your granddad Alf Garnett, Wayne? He sounds like Alf.
Seriously. Alf Garnett, don't blimey. Do me a favour, Lee, will you? Come off it.
Silly
Come on, bloody people up there from bleeding Boston area. Come on.
So Chris, So did you? So have you've been to a lot of West Ham games, or what's your story with having?
I've actually never been to a West Ham game.
That is unfortunate.
So,
You're not alone.
Yeah.
A lot of people here have said that. Yeah. So
Yeah.
you have family. Your dad. You said your dad was from Essex, right?
My dad was from he was from Grays.
Have you not gotten over much, or is it just you haven't gotten?
No, well, I've been a few times, probably a half dozen. It wasn't very many.
Yeah.
Usually what happens is when you live in California, all your relatives come visit you in California.
Yeah, it's true, right? It is true.
Yeah.
It is true. It's like when I lived in Paris, and I would tell people, when I moved away from Boston and I moved to Paris, I said, you should come visit me in Paris. And what shocked me, people actually did. Like a lot of people did. Yeah, I know. But a lot of people did. I mean, I had people in the apartment all the time. So I was very surprised to find they took me up on that invitation. It doesn't happen as much here. So, although every now and then. So, John, I would show me the shirt you've got on. I can't really see.
The old third kit, the black one.
Oh yeah, I remember that one. Okay, yeah.
Was that from '93?
No, it was probably 4 years ago.
Yeah, it's much newer.
Ago. Yeah,
it's much.
I don't
newer.
remember that one.
Yeah, I do. I do remember the red. It was when we had Adidas with the red stripes.
as Alpari was the sponsor.
Right, Alpari, which suddenly went bankrupt as soon as the Swiss franc decoupled from the dollar or something. I don't remember what the situation was.
Typical West Ham, yeah.
Yeah, no,
every one that we sign up with, right, got tanks, don't they? Totally tank.
Alpari, it was XL that went bust, and they had to put the patches on the fronts of the shirts.
Yeah, with the big numbers on them.
Well, the Icelandic National Bank, that was another one.
Yeah.
Yeah, we even got Iceland.
Seriously, a friggin' national bank. Unbelievable.
I have an old XL shirt. I have a shirt with an SBO bet patch on the front. And I have an Alpari shirt. My Carlton Cole shirt is an Alpari. I really like that shirt, actually. That was the pinstripe with the white with the pinstripe. Anyway, so John, when's the last time you were over for a match?
What was it? About a year and a half, 2 years ago. The match. It was my first match at the London Stadium, and the only match I've been to at the London Stadium. It was impressive, I've got to say. I mean, there's a lot of down talk about the London Stadium, but just that walk up to it and how big it is, and compared to I've had the pleasure to go to quite a lot of American stadia these days, especially Penn State. People that don't know, there's 110,000 person stadium. It's the second largest in the country.
Yeah.
So something that looks upon that scale for my football team, I was pretty impressed by. I got to say, and it's got its issues, but to become that next level kind of club, it's just something you have to deal with, I think.
I think it's something we had to do to secure our place as a constant Premier League participant, if that makes sense. I think we had to do it, but that's maybe another discussion altogether. So
I'm just going to add, I'm tired of people whining about the stadium. I really am. It's like, I think there are two things that we do well at West Ham. We lose. In the games that we need to win, that's one thing we do really bloody well.
Yeah,
and we piss and moan a lot.
Yeah, it's true.
And I think we've just enough is enough. It's not like we are none of us here are share. We can't freaking turn back time, can we? It's not going to happen.
Yeah. It's a big. I haven't been to the new stadium. I did go to the Boleyn once years ago, and that was a great experience. We're hoping to get over this season, maybe even as a group. So you guys should keep in touch with us on that. But it's a big, gorgeous, large, world-class stadium that the club are getting at an incredibly cut rate because we're renters.
Oh yeah.
Everything considered, if you step away from the nostalgia of it, it's really a pretty good deal. I mean, in terms of the revenue we're bringing in, everything else. Now, it hasn't really translated to results yet, but I mean, it's a pretty good deal. So you didn't mind it. So in terms of atmosphere, how'd you find it compared to the Boleyn?
It wasn't too bad. I mean, I think there's certainly some rose-tinted glasses when it comes to how the atmosphere was at the Boleyn. It was a night game and it was kicking in, depending who we were playing. If we were up, that place was second to none. Yeah. There's certainly plenty of games there, especially when the all-seating came in. They could be subdued. But, you saw it. Was it the first season we were at the Olympic Stadium? Was it the Chelsea game, I think?
Yeah.
And subsequent Spurs games. I mean, that place can really rock. It comes through on the TV pretty clear. Like I said, the game that I went to, I think, was so inconsequential. I can't even remember who we played there that day, to be honest. So it's probably a little bit quieter than that Chelsea game. But I think as a supporter, I'm more optimistic than pessimistic, and I like to look at that as a step in the right direction.
Yeah,
I'd agree with you on that one for definite. It's it is a step in the right direction, and look what the alternative would have been. The alternative would have been that possibly that Spurs would have ended up there.
Yes.
Knocked it down, built this beautiful big stadium. What 2.5, 3 miles away from the Boleyn, and it would have butchered us. It would totally butchered us.
That's exactly it. If
we had no choice.
Somebody else was going to do it if we didn't do it.
I think you're absolutely right. I do. I think you're right. I want to ask Chris. So you're down in Houston now. We've had some West Ham fans on from Houston before. At Bayou Ironworks, I think they call themselves. Are you hooked up with those guys?
Yeah.
He is the Bayou Ironworks.
Oh, you're the Bayou.
Yeah.
He is the Bayou Ironworks. It wouldn't be one without him and Keith.
There you go.
Well, Keith's got off to Albuquerque now, so.
Oh, that's right.
He still keeps his tentacles in those. Don't worry.
So
I bet he does.
How'd you get the supporters group started? What was that experience like?
Well, I didn't get it started. Ryan got it started, and when I moved here, it was rather quiet. I think the people who were coming didn't like the venue that we were at, and so they kind of figured it was just better to watch at home than to bother. And then I started going, and I just happened to pick the same place that they used to go to. And then Thomas showed up, who was moved over for work. And I just saw I walked into the bar and I saw that 6 on the back of the claret and blue. And I was like, there we go. There's one.
Yeah, you're in the right
and
place.
it probably took about 3 years before I saw one. And then we started just chatting back and forth. And then, people started coming back. And then Keith moved us to another bar that everybody liked better. And it's been a lot better now. Yeah, for sure.
You're in Nick's place down there now, aren't you?
Yeah, and he's really taking care of us.
What's the name of the place again?
Nick's place.
Okay. And
it's a sports bar.
Anybody from Houston is watching or is going to watch eventually. Where is that in the city?
It's on Westheimer and I want to say Eldridge. I think they call it. What do they call that part down there? West Chase, I think is what they call it.
Is that sort of more or less downtown, or is that?
No, it's away from downtown. So it's like downtown, midtown, and then where we are, sort of Memorial kind of area.
Okay.
Should say what part of the traffic jam is it located in?
I was going to say.
Yeah, that's right. It's the part of the town where you don't have to pay for parking, so it's the best part of town.
Oh, that's nice.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
10 o'clock Saturday mornings shouldn't be too bad for traffic, I wouldn't think, but Houston is.
Yeah. Well, 9 for us. Yeah.
Oh, that's right. You're right.
Yeah.
Houston's traffic is pretty bad, but I guess
yeah.
Yeah. So what kind of crowd do you guys usually get there on the weekends?
So last weekend we had 12 for the
good.
Brighton game, which is pretty good. Yeah.
That's good.
And being the town that we are, we every so often we get a visitor from overseas who's there for work, for oil, or whatever it is.
Right.
So we had one last week, and it turned into a little bit of a session. We were showing him a good time. I had to drive him home at the end of the day.
Now remind me, do you guys? Is this an exclusive West Ham bar, or are you with other supporters groups there?
Well, for the most part, it's only us.
Okay.
Occasionally, the Wolves guys show up, and they sit on the other side. So it's got that old school design of like the horseshoe.
Yeah.
Uh-huh.
So we're on one side, and the Wolves sit on the opposite.
All right.
So it's
that's not the worst.
It's like hardly any action. Yeah.
So they're close enough that you can throw a couple of bottles at them if they're getting a bit too rowdy.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, if you have to share,
but they're good guys.
If you have to share a pub with somebody, I would think that's not a bad group at all. I mean, it's better than having to deal with Tottenham or Arsenal or Liverpool or somebody like that. So.
Yeah, it was rough though because last season it came up, and it was like they were giving us the big, oh, we're gonna show you guys, you'll never know, blah blah, we're gonna be so good, like whatever, blah blah blah, championship team, and then they smashed us.
I was gonna say they were good.
They made it into
That'd be
Europa.
no fun.
They were good.
Yeah.
They're good again this season.
The joke's on them though. Like most of them work for a football team, like youth training academy kind of deal. and it's all Liverpool. They're all Wolves guys, and they have to work for Liverpool.
It's the same here. It's a long story, but the club that Tim and I used to Tim ran the club, but I used to help Tim run an NPSL club here in Lowell. And once the NPSL thing kind of fizzled, we had a youth club. And then Tim stepped away, and the guy who was running the youth club was a Spurs guy. And then he sold it. I don't know how much money he got for it, probably not much. But he sold it to basically the Liverpool Academy. So he's a Spurs guy, but he's got a coach the names are weird. It's like Liverpool, Massachusetts East 1.7 or something. Anyway, but he's stuck doing that. I don't really feel sorry for him. He made his bed. But but yeah, they also were Liverpool kits and stuff like that. So so John, what about you in Philly? Do you go to the pub? Do you watch at home? What's your situation?
I watch at home because I yell too much, so I don't want to.
Well, no, come on a second here, John. Hold on. Now, I've been in the bars in Philly. You mean to tell me they never yell in a bar in Philly?
Not like I do.
Wait,
well, you're welcome down in Dallas anytime, mate, because we scream and holler all day long.
It's a date.
Philadelphia sports fans look placid and calm.
Yeah, I don't think so.
That is a terrifying thought because we know Philly sports fans, and I mean they do have a reputation. Is all I'm saying.
They certainly do. I think I'm a little too not that my pub days are behind me, but my pub days at 10 in the morning are kind of behind me. So I prefer to watch it a little bit at home and get on with my day, cutting the grass or something after that.
I hear. I used to drink at a bar up there. I don't know if it's still open. I think it was down. It's way down the end of South Street. I guess down by Nob Hill, called what was it? The Dickens Inn.
Dickens Inn. Don't know it. Sorry.
So, and then there was another place you used to go drinking called the Green Door.
Green Door.
It was, which was real close to Rittenhouse Square, and I tell you, that place was dodgy. It's like you went there, you wouldn't even know it was a bar, and you go up to the place and you go like this, knock at the door, and one of those little things would open up like that. And you'd be like, can I come in for a beer? And they'd be like, "You're all right." And they'd let you in. It was a strange place, very strange place.
Like a proper speakeasy, like the old fashioned in the tradition.
It was right around the corner from Rittenhouse Square. There, so I mean, and people knew of it, but people that were local, I guess, knew of it. But if you didn't know, you wouldn't know it was a bleeding bar at all. So, and I don't know the Philly guys. I don't even. I think that Jason was saying that they state that they drink one place in particular, but I can't remember the name of it. So.
Yeah, I can't remember either. And I know that you're, John, you and Wally are neighbors. Maybe you guys, he probably yells a lot too. He's on the chat right now. We'll see what he says. But, I'm sure he gets into it as well. But maybe you guys can find a place to hang out or hang out at your house. But you ever, I know Penn State usually is probably more of a primetime football team, given, just their status in the college football world. Do you ever do a double up where it's like 10 a.m. West Ham, noon Penn State, you just sort of cruise for like 6 hours?
That's generally my autumn. Yeah, every Saturday is religiously 10 at West Ham if they're on at 10, and then Penn State maybe noon or 3:30. Sometimes that happens. And so what have I got? I got 2 weeks until my paradise begins again. So I got both West Ham and Penn State going, and hopefully they both have a good year, but we'll see.
Yeah, I have spent too much time following West Ham and not enough time with college football this year, and I don't even know outside of Alabama and Clemson who the favorites are. So I don't know. I'm not sure anything about the Big Ten, but
I don't think that changes. It's probably Alabama and Clemson.
Yeah, I would think so. But that's a big. Listen, those are big Saturdays, man. I hope you have a sympathetic spouse.
I have a spouse that was born where Penn State is, so she's
she gets it.
At least kind of gets it. Yeah,
she gets it. I've been to a game up there at that stadium, and I tell you what, I've never seen anything like it in my life. I mean, it's incredible. It really is incredible.
Yeah, I like I said, I went to university there. I was not a supporter of American football when I moved over here. I just didn't know enough about it. As you know, we didn't have much exposure back in the 90s to American football. And you go there and it's like a religion. And, it was the closest thing I found to our football. And yes. I fell in love with it. Just the crowd interaction. The pros are different. People are quiet. The stadiums are different. Absolutely. When it comes to college football, it's got that raucous kind of raw, emotional aspect to it that I really.
There's more of an emotional tie to it, isn't it? Because people have been there and they're brought up, and even after they move on, like yourself, you graduate, you move on. There's still that tie that it's where you're from.
Absolutely,
it really is.
Well, the only American sport that can compare to football, English football or world football, in terms of atmosphere and fan passion is college football.
Yeah.
Nothing else comes close. Nothing else. I mean, it's just not. It's not even.
I don't know. I've been to a few Philadelphia Flyers games, and it comes a bit close.
Yeah.
Well,
it's just the venue's so much smaller. But the passion is still there.
That's true. I mean, you can go to Bruins games and get into some pretty rowdy crowds, but I always think that professional sports is still, the crowd is still full of too many corporate types. Whereas with college games, you really get like alumni and locals and lifelong fans, and it's a lot like going to an English or European football match where you get people who really grew up with it. Whereas, of course, that's changing too now that we're in the Premier League, and the Premier League's been around for 25 years, however long it's been. I'm sure you get a lot of corporate types in England as well, but it's still a more pure experience, I think, than you get with most American sports.
It's almost the way that the sport's going back home, though. When you look at like the rebranding of West Ham United, I mean, I love the old badge, I love the castle and everything.
Yeah.
And I tell you, it's what is this the 4th year now we've had this new badge? 3rd year or 4th year?
We started the first year the stadium was the first year of the new badge. Yeah.
And actually, most of the people in the chat room seem to be talking about it right now. And say, yeah, here you go. Wally's saying the new badge grows on him.
Yeah, I was going to say we should say hi to the chat room. We got Wally. We've got John's neighbor Wally here. We've got B. Hoff. B. Hoff has offered to do some work for us. I don't know his real name yet, but we'll get to that later. He's offered.
B. Hoff's all over the place. B. Hoff's he's been very nice about the our new podcast as well, which is so. Thank you, B. Hoff.
B. Hoff told us today in our Twitter messages. I think I can reveal this. I don't think it's too much of a secret. He became a West Ham supporter because of American Hammers TV.
Wow!
Yes, so he's new to the club, which is good. He started watching us. He'd watched the football for a while.
Maybe we didn't put him off.
I was going to say it's shocking, right?
All the misery we talk about on this channel.
No, that's how you know he's a person of character, though, right? If he can watch us and still voluntarily follow the club, that's how you know he has heart and soul. He's not a front runner. Anyway, he told us
maybe he's a social worker.
He must be like a trauma nurse or something, or like works in an emergency room, or like a first responder who sees disasters all the time and is used to it.
Yeah,
I don't know. But anyway, he's here. So he said he became a fan. He started following West Ham and getting into some of the supporters' chats, and he's said it was like a real family, which we know.
Funny boy.
So really, really happy to hear that, and really proud of having somebody say that. Neil is here from Australia. It's like 11 o'clock in the morning there. I don't know if Neil has a job or what, but he watches this like in the middle of the day on weekdays, so that's cool.
Neil's just into watching everything. Look, he's an expert now on. He says no one says they're sitting too far away from the action at the cricket.
Yes. No, we're happy.
Not that there's really too much action in cricket. Let's be honest here. It's like okay. Oh yes, pass another cucumber sandwich, please.
I sort of like cricket, but in that way that I like something that you put on in the background for 6 or 8 hours and just let it play. You can't really watch it, but you can sort of. It's like background music. It's like it gives an atmosphere to your
elevator music. It's like an elevator sport.
Yeah. It's like in the grocery store. It's sort of like going on behind you, and it's nice that it's there, but you really don't pay much attention to it. So anyway, Neil's here, Ian's here. Who else is here? I don't see Gaz is here, which is good. One of our hosts.
I haven't seen Justin in here in ages. Look, Justin's here. Watch him, mate.
Justin's here. Lucas is here.
Haven't seen him in ages.
Lucas is here. Justin's here. But you know who's not here? There's no Gabe. Where's my buddy Gabe?
Oh my lord.
Maybe he's gone to the Georgie Leahy Instagram page. I don't know. But I don't see Gabe, but I maybe he'll drop in at some point.
Maybe his mum caught him on the Georgia Leahy page and told him he can't go on online anymore.
I keep waiting for him to get grounded for watching our. I don't know, Chris and John. If you don't know, Gabe is our buddy in Austin, who's 15 or 16. I think he's 15. He's going to be a sophomore in high school, I think, and he watches every episode. He's in the chat room every episode. So he's probably in trouble for watching a bunch of degenerates talk about West Ham. his bedroom. But if that's the case, Gabe, sorry, buddy. Hope you get back soon. Yes,
maybe school started.
Yeah, we got a good little crowd tonight. Wayne, I think we should do some hammers pulls in a minute, but before we do, I was hoping maybe we could get a quick take from Chris and John on our first couple of games of the season. I have ranted sufficiently over the last couple of episodes, so I don't know, Chris. Let's start with you. Where and how do you think we are right now, and what do you want to see us do to improve?
I think it's pretty. It feels like business as usual, right?
Yeah, it does.
I mean, we play one game.
Yeah.
Our big striker goes down.
Yes.
We get 1 point out of Brighton, which is kind of that's kind of a step up, right? To get a point out of Brighton finally.
We are,
but
I try to keep in mind. Sorry to interrupt, but further to what you're saying, I try to keep in mind that without VAR, we're sitting right now exactly where we sat last season, which was 2 matches, 2 defeats, because they had a goal obviously canceled by VAR. So I mean, I realize we've just gotten this team together, but I'm feeling as though this is yet another sort of 10th place finish. Is there anything you see that looks more positive than that?
Fifth,
yeah, I could go for a fifth. That'd be nice.
How's that going to happen? I mean, I don't,
Yeah, I think
whatever you said, I was going to take half of it.
This is the same Pellegrini tinkering with the team until it gets to that sort of panic part. So about like the end of September, then he starts getting like serious. Like, I got to put points on the board. We have that good run right into Christmas.
Yeah, he made the most incredible statement to me. Somebody posted this on Twitter. One of the West Ham accounts posted this on Twitter. He was quoted as saying something like how he wanted Fornals more involved in the team. And I can't remember who else he mentioned. Fornals linking up with, I don't remember. Anyway, but the point is, he said something along the lines of maybe we need to play a few more matches before we figure this out.
Yeah, I saw that as well.
And I thought, but they all count. This isn't preseason. You're not playing
exactly.
Hockenheim, United, Austria, or whoever it was we played. I mean, this is it. So I don't like
but
this.
In the one sense, right, they're trying to get Fornals up to speed.
Yeah. No,
so basically, you got to throw him in there.
Yeah,
you got to throw him in the deep end, and he's going to struggle for the first 6 games, I think.
Tinkering with the team still, I don't like that. I mean, make adjustments, yes, right? Something doesn't work, make adjustments. Yeah. But this notion
English isn't his first language.
Well, Wayne, come on. He won a Premier League title with Manchester City. He's got to speak a little bit of English. I don't know, John. What do you think? What do you think about where we are?
Oh God, I have many thoughts. First of all, in Pellegrini, I trust. I mean, I think for the first time in a long time, we've got a manager that will bring in the talent that we need to keep moving up the table. That's a quality we've missed for a long time as a manager that players want to play for. Yep. Pellegrini is a manager that players want to play for. Yep. We're introducing some new fellas into the team. We've had injuries in the wrong places at the wrong time. Even as simple as Mark Noble, I think you've seen the Twitter sphere the last 2 weeks how much he means to the team.
Yeah.
And Jack Wilshere, he's not Mark Noble. He's better than Mark Noble going forward, but he doesn't have a defensive mind. So slotting him into that role next to Declan isn't working.
He doesn't have a toughness, doesn't have his leadership either. I think we miss Noble as captain. I think we miss Noble out there kicking some guys up the backside when they're not.
We miss his grit. I mean that's the one thing that Mark Noble has always brought to the team. He's brought that East End feel to the team, hasn't he? Let's be honest here. East End's always been about like fighting through stuff, no matter how bad it is, and just getting it done. And that's what Mark Noble's about, is just getting it done. I think it'll make a difference when he comes back. I really do.
I think in that ideal world, what you would have done with Fornals is maybe have him on the bench and replace him man for man with Lanzini. And you have Wilshere in the roles where Fornals is playing now and Noble sitting back with Deck. But, with the injuries we've had, it's just not worked out that way. You got to put Fornals in. Like Chris said, he's going to take 5-6 games. Allaire is going to take 5-6 games. We just got to be patient, I think.
Yeah.
We do. And I understand that. And it's not really a lack of patience. It's more and I do think Pellegrini is helping us bring in players we wouldn't have otherwise. I think Fornals and Allaire, especially Allaire, are two really good examples of players who would not have signed for us had we had another manager. For instance, like a Slaven Bilic or David Moyes.
Oh, well, I don't think that Golden Sullivan would have loosened the purse strings if we had Slav.
No, I don't.
Or
No,
David Moyes. I mean, I think that was really part of the deal with Pellegrini. He said, yeah, I'll come along, but if this is a project, then you've got to put your money where your mouth is.
I am still a believer in Pellegrini. I am. I just sometimes his team selection baffles me. Sometimes his substitutions baffle me. Sometimes his formations do. And this whole idea of, and even if it's in his mind, the whole idea of coming out publicly saying, well, let's tinker with the team for a few games. I know managers do that. I don't want to hear him say it.
He's too honest.
Do you know? I want to hear him say like we're making.
He is, isn't he, though, John? He is. He's being honest with it, and I think that's the thing is we've had so many people lie about what's going on with our club, from the board all the way through the managers. You don't know who to believe from the whole Payet business onwards. Like, who do you believe with what? And Pellegrini is doing that. He's saying what's really going on, and the things that are important, he's keeping close to his chest. Him and Asilius, they are. I mean, I wouldn't have thought that we were going to be signing Allaire or signing Fornals. I mean, nobody saw the goalkeeper signing. Nobody saw anything coming. I like the way it's going.
I say we look professional. I mean,
yeah, we do, don't we?
We've done business compared to the last 10 years at least. I mean, it's a breath of fresh air. But
and yet it's not translating into results yet. I mean,
it's early days. Early days.
Very early days. I understand that. I'm still bitter about Manchester City. I don't care. Again, I'll say it again. I don't care if you're playing Pele's Brazil or Maradona's Argentina. You don't give up 5 at home. It's unacceptable to me. And
yeah, I think that's where you miss Noble, right? Because he would have put a foot in somewhere. He would have knocked somebody down.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely, Chris. And Tim and I and Wally talked about this last, I think it was Sunday night. We sat here half of last season. We started American Hammers TV into January. So we sat for the last half of last season. And we said, maybe it's the end for Mark Noble. He's getting toward the end. He's getting a little old, And now I'm sitting there begging for him to come back. Like we need his toughness, we need his grit.
What's concerning me is, like, he is getting on in years, and I don't see any player that we've got that can step into that role.
Right.
That's what's concerning me.
I agree.
I don't see a player. I think Declan Rice is a skilled player. I think he'll move on in a couple of years. I don't think we'll hang on to him. I'd be shocked if he did. I don't think
we will either.
But I don't think he's got the grit that Mark Noble's got. I mean, you don't see many players around like that anymore. I mean, like a Kevin Nolan type or a Mark Noble type that you really need, that's gonna really put their neck on the line for the club. There aren't that many around any longer.
I think it was supposed to be Cullen, but it just hasn't developed.
Look at our situation with who's captain when Noble's not captain. I mean, it was on Ogbonna of all people against Brighton. I guess just because he's been here a while, but there's nothing about him that makes me think he's worthy of being a captain. If anything, I'd have probably handed it to Balbuena, except we didn't play Balbuena, so that was part of the problem.
Well, what's funny is I was talking to a couple of mates at the Dallas Hammers, and we're like, I wonder how he decided on who the captain was, and we came up with like various ideas, and I think we all decided eventually that he must have flipped a coin.
I think he did. Yeah.
He must have flipped a bloody coin.
There's no sense, but it goes back to the point you were making, Wayne, which is we don't have another Mark Noble. We don't have one. There aren't many Mark Nobles, period. We know that, right? But we don't have another, old school, like East End sort of enforcer. We don't have that player. And
let's be honest, the league doesn't have that kind of player any longer either, does it? I mean, it's not the sort of player that thrives in our league. It's the sort of player that maybe thrives down in the Championship. You see a few players like that, but you don't often see those hard-nosed, grit and guts type of player up in the Premiership any longer. It's all about, finesse and tippity-tappity. Watch me do my ballet dance in the midfield. It's,
It's more of a foreign game, hasn't it? I mean, it's become more of a foreign game. You don't see many English players. You don't see many British players. And, you see a lot of, and which is okay, except that, as you said, it's brought in a different style of play. It's brought in a different style of player.
Yeah.
More tough guys left. And, for us, it's funny because West Ham have always been known for the West Ham way and playing with flair and attacking football and all that.
I like this one, what Ian said.
I do too. I actually don't mind that in a way, even though I think he's kind of a goofball, Antonio. I mean, he's kind of the best of a bad set of choices. Do you know what I mean?
I think if you don't have Noble in, you got to put Antonio in because he kind of inspires the team. Everybody likes playing with Antonio.
Yeah, he does.
If you have no Noble,
they do like
and
he just
Snodgrass.
he just can't shoot very well.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I agree with what Justin's saying. Snodgrass, I think if Snodgrass had a little bit more quality and he was getting more playing time out there, I think he'd be ideal because he's the sort of player that goes out there and gives it. Plus, he understands the fans.
And he put a fire up somebody. I don't think Antonio will put a fire up somebody.
You're right.
See, that's the problem, John. I think Antonio, the other players like him, but they like him too much, right? He's too goofy. He's too silly to be a captain. I mean, is he really going to get up in somebody's face? I think Snodgrass would do it.
Yeah.
I think Snodgrass would do it. But does he have the credibility to do it as a guy who is, more of a bench player than a starter most of the time? I don't know. But could they understand him with his Scottish accent anyway? Who knows? I mean, part of the problem right there. You can tell.
The drugs official understood it fine.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Yeah, when he told him to f off.
Yeah, he did. That's That's captain material right there. Is when he told the drug tester to My mom watches, so I don't cuss in the show. But anyway, to f off. But, all right. So what do you think? Do you have some Hammers, Paul? Since we're sort of moving along.
I do. Yeah, let me pull them up here. I've got a few of them here. I'll share my screen with you, chaps. Here we go. If I can figure out how to do it. Boom, boom, boom. Screen 1, screen number 2. Here you go.
Well, not yet.
It's not coming up yet. Here it comes. It's here. It's coming. I've got a slow computer tonight. I don't quite know what's happening.
There we go.
So, there you go. So the first one from Hammers Polls. If you had to choose, it's actually from our Gaz as well. It's from AHTV Gaz. So, and Gaz who says he hates Twitter. What you doing, Gaz? You're on Twitter, mate.
I hate Twitter too, but it's a necessary evil, so I understand how
you have to. Yeah. So, if you had to choose one of these two central attacking mids, who'd you go for, Lanzini or Fornals?
All right. Why don't we start with Chris? What do you think?
I actually responded to this one. Like, I think 2 of those comments are mine. I said Lanzini because how are you going to pick Fornals? He's only started 1 game.
Yeah,
but I said it would be good to see this poll again in 6 months and then see what they say.
Yeah,
but I think it's always going to be Lanzini. Lanzini is just he looks like his old self again after that injury.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he's all over the place.
Yeah, I'm confident that he's starting to really regain his form after the offseason. I think, John, you pretty much answered this, but what's your take on this one?
I mean, I kind of agree with Chris there, but let me go a little bit controversial. I'm going to say Fornals now. Lanzini, love the guy, but I've got a problem with him. And the problem is he's missing a final ball. And he's not influential enough on the pitch. He doesn't control a game. He has moments. He's in and out for 20 minutes, but he doesn't control a game. So maybe one for the future. And I would like to revisit in 6 months, but the allure of the unknown is kind of nice. So let's go with Fornals.
It's interesting you mentioned that and missing the final ball. I think one of the reasons he still plays for us is because he has that flaw. I think that if he were a better sort of finisher or a better sort of,
he would be at Liverpool by now.
Right, exactly. If he could get that decisive cross in, if he could finish goals the way a great attacking midfielder should, he'd be at Manchester City by now. He's got skill and flair.
And I see the irony that he was the one that set up Cheech this weekend, but
and he did that pass to Snodgrass where he hit it right at the keeper.
Yeah, but you said it right there, John, didn't you? He doesn't do it often enough, does he?
Yeah.
He doesn't do it often enough. I think that's an interesting slant on it. About I think 6 months' time, I think we'll have a definite view on who it should be. Right now, if we were just going on who we know, I'd have to pick Lanzini for who I know. But I get the feeling that for now, from what I've seen of his play, he looks like he can create just a little bit more. I think he can create just a little bit more if he can get the grips with the Premier League a little bit quickly. I think he could open it up for us. I'd like to reserve judgment for a few months down the line.
I'm with you, Wayne. I'd pick Lanzini today, but I'm super excited about Fornals. I've been excited since we signed him. And I think by January, the answer might be different. Yeah.
Yep. So what we got next? Let's have a look here. Let's see if I can scroll through the things here. Cool, blimey, a lot of adverts on the thing today. Oh, blimey. Yeah, dear. Don't forget, if you do have a question, put it into Hammers Polls. They're great partners of ours. Okay, here's an interesting one.
They're really good guys, yeah. They've been good to us.
A question from Totally West Ham. What position do you think we need to strengthen the most? We should throw this one open to John first.
Yeah, let's go to John.
I've already complained about Noble's absence. Centre midfield's a problem. I think our fullbacks are a problem too. I'd be doing a disservice if I didn't say so. Cress and Masuaku on the left. There's questions there. Our right back position. There's questions there. We'll see how they deal with Delafeu this weekend. But if I had to pick, probably you need a replacement for Noble long term. So who's that going to be?
Yeah,
centre midfield.
Okay. Yeah.
Now, do you find it ironic that really last year was supposed to be the year that we sewed up the backfield, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, Fredericks was. I think it was a good buy. I'll say that. I think his speed makes up for a lot of defensive errors that he has.
Tim's anger is burning through the phone right now as I look at our chat. Anyway, sorry. Go ahead.
Well, he's not wrong. It was a good buy. We got him for free, right? So.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's true. That's right.
That's good value right there.
What do you think? What do you think, Chris? What's your take on this question?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with center midfield, but I think probably fullbacks is where we're going to need to for the next season coming up. Because even with Ben Johnson, I think he plays better as a right back. And Fredericks, his injuries scare me. I mean, he was playing preseason with his legs taped up. That's scary.
I feel the same.
And his Davalette is out, right? So
my answer to this question is 100% fullbacks. And I don't think, for me, it's not even close. I'm not confident in either side. I'm not confident in Cresswell, who I think has just lost his form probably permanently. Masuaku, name I can never say, does okay going forward. I don't think he's particularly good defender. On the right, I don't know, man. Fredericks is too inconsistent. I mean, he's really inconsistent. He's pacey, he's fast, but he's not very skilled. For me, I think it's our weakest point in the team by far. I don't know. What do you think, Wayne?
You know what? I'm just looking through the chat room, and I agree with Wally.
What's Wally saying?
Because Fabianski is brilliant, but when Fabianski gets injured, that Martinez guy scares the living shit out of me.
Oh, yeah.
He really does. He scares the crap out of me. He just doesn't seem strong enough. I think that we really screwed up in letting Adrian go, even though he did make a big faux pas the other week with his lovely little rebound shot. But he does it. This new guy Roberto Martinez just scares the shit out of me. Really does. If I had to pick one of these ones, it's a tough one, isn't it? I would take wingers off.
Yeah.
I'd have to do it through process of elimination. I'd say wingers were okay. Oh, blimey. And then the other three, it's like flip a coin. Seriously, flip a coin.
Our center backs, I really thought we had that sorted, and now I'm starting to lose a little confidence in Diop, as much as I hate to say it. I'm losing a little bit of confidence in him, and I'm wondering if long-term he's a Premier League player. I know that sounds crazy, but I don't know. I'm not sure he has the toughness. And
Lee, you were worried about our fullbacks. What are you more worried about, the left side or the right side?
I'm more worried about the right side, although not by much. Not by much. And to be fair, I'm more worried about fullbacks and center backs, but I'm much more worried about the right side. I just don't. I mean,
why are you worried? We could always put Antonio back there. He was bleeding brilliant.
He was a chirper, right, to play right back, and he was serviceable, I guess. But I mean, Fredericks is inconsistent, and then Zaba, I don't know, man. He looks about 50 now. He's just really fallen off in terms of quality. I think he's a great professional, but that's another place where we don't have a lot of depth. But Wally's point about keeper is a good point because with Fabianski goes down, man, we are in a lot of trouble if Fabianski goes down.
And God forbid Roberto.
I would probably recall Trot.
Yeah, seriously, Chris.
Yeah, Roberto looks bad. Yeah, I agree.
Because I mean, you couldn't play Martins in there. You really couldn't. I mean, he knows he's not going to get any game time he's not going to get any game time in Premier League games. He's not going to get any game time in any cup games. He's not that sort of player. He knows when he came on board, he was brought on board to help the youth, and that's really that was about it.
He's like a coach, and he's got the family connection, and they're kind of good over, I think, to be honest. Which is actually that's okay with me. But he's not going to have any.
I bet he gets one run out though this season. I bet he plays. He might play against Newport for all we know.
Well, in a league cup,
blimey! Then kiss the Carabao Cup goodbye.
I don't want to kiss any cups goodbye. We got to get Mark Noble a trophy. So
I want all of them. I want all of them.
Carabao Cup. I don't care if it's one of these CONCACAF cups that keeps coming up that I've never heard of. There was one on the other night called the League's Cup. What is the League's Cup? I don't even know what that is. But anyway,
that's the Mexico-U.S. one, right?
The Mexico teams are playing for it. Really pretty good match, actually. I watched part of last night, but who knows what these things are. So maybe we'll have to end up winning some sort of, some sort of 12th tier cup.
FA Cup's ours this year. I fully believe the FA Cup's ours this year until we get knocked out.
I think if we concentrate on it, it's possible.
Totally committed to it.
I do. All right, so we're getting a little bit toward the end of the hour. So Wayne, do you want to
do one more poll, or do you want to do? I think we've probably got enough for now, right?
Yeah, I think let's do. What do you think about 10 questions?
I think we've got 11 of them.
Well, you like Spinal Tap. You like Spinal Tap. This one goes to 11.
I think we've got 11 of them.
Let's go to
we've got our 10 questions.
Oh, you mean 11 questions starting on the pitch every Saturday? Is that what you mean?
No, I mean no. We've actually got 11 questions.
Oh, I thought you were trying to say like we have 11 questions in the player.
I don't know how we got the 10 questions. It's been 11 for. It's been 11.
See, I'm not. I pay no attention to what's going on. You know that.
Yeah,
I mean, we get to pass on one.
I drop in every Wednesday and Sunday, and then other than that, I'm totally out. All right, so let's do it. So do you have them? Do you have them?
I've got them up right up here in front of me, mate. So I'll tell you, we'll do this. We'll start from top to bottom. We'll ask the question first. We'll get John's answer first, and we'll get Chris's answer second. How's that sound?
I promise to stay quiet. Otherwise, we'll be on for another 45 minutes. So.
Then at halftime, we'll change. The sixth question, I'll change. Okay. Okay. So here we go. Meat pie or apple pie, John?
Meat pie.
What kind?
Pie mash.
Beautiful. Chris?
Meat pie.
What
Shepherd's.
kind? What?
Shepherd's pie. Shepherd's pie.
Okay, John, who is your favourite current West Ham player?
Noble.
Chris?
Yeah, I'll go with Noble. I do.
Good. Okay, here's another one on the opposite side of the coin. John, who frustrates you the most in the current West Ham squad? Yeah, that's a deep breath.
So many to choose from. Cresswell. He gets the ball to his feet and never goes past the man.
Yep.
Yeah.
And Masuaku, who gets the ball to his feet and doesn't look up and give the ball away quickly.
Yep. Chris?
I'll go opposite side. Fredericks. He gets all the way down there. He beats everybody, and then he just kicks it nowhere. I don't know where he's kicking it to.
Yep.
Yeah, that frustrates me too.
Yep.
Okay, so here's one for you. Okay, John, FA Cup or top 4 finish?
FA Cup.
Chris?
FA Cup.
All the way.
I'm wearing the shirt, man. I'm wearing the shirt.
I'm dropping that question. I'm definitely dropping it.
Yeah. Everybody we've had that I've talked to, I don't do all the shows, obviously. Everybody we've had that I talked to has said FA Cup, which is the correct answer. So, yeah.
We had one person that said top 4 finish. One person.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was.
I respectfully disagree. Anyway.
It was the other lad from Philly. Said top 4 finish.
Did he?
I think he did.
I can't be responsible for that.
No, seriously, he's an American, so. No, but I
Yeah,
think
I take FA Cup over Champions League. Winning the Champions League, I'd rather win the FA Cup.
Oh, I love
My
that.
opinion.
I think that's fantastic. I wish we had the choice.
I'd like, actually,
Yeah, we're
I'd
not
like
in
to
it,
take,
so it's
I'd like
easy to
both
make the
of them.
choice, right?
But I'd like to win the FA Cup and come in fourth, and then go win the Champions League. That's all I'm asking. So okay, so here we go. It's fifth question, John. What about West Ham do you love?
Tradition, supporters, loyalty, and just the feeling you get, because we spend so much time in the lows that those highs are really high.
I hear you. How about you, Chris?
Yeah, it's the people. It's the people you meet. Just
People
hanging
you
out,
meet?
like doing this. I mean, this is what makes it great, right? Sitting around talking about the team we love.
Yep.
Yep, totally.
It's half time, so I'm going to change ends now. Okay, so this one we'll let you answer it first, Chris, and you'll be going first from now on. What about West Ham do you hate, Chris?
The people.
I would say exactly the same thing. Love them and hate them.
Yeah, I mean, you get these people who it doesn't matter how we do, it is the worst thing to ever happen to them. You know, I mean, we could beat Tottenham 4-0 and be like, oh, we should have got 5. You know, we should sell that player because he didn't shoot it right. And it's like you're just never happy.
Yeah, I'm wondering. This is what I'm really wondering right now is who you might be talking of, Chris, with something like this. Could it be?
There are plenty of them in this world.
Keith, are you watching, mate? So, how about you, John? What do you hate about that?
I hate that they can affect my mood so much.
Yeah. Yeah.
And you're living here, where the games are at 10 o'clock on Saturday mornings usually.
Ruins your whole bloody day.
Right, they ruin your weekend before you get
Yeah.
Your weekend's done. God forbid you got an early doors game.
noon on Saturday.
By 9 o'clock, never mind that 6:30 kickoff. Your day's ruined
Man
by
City.
9. Your day's ruined by 9, and then your whole weekend's shot.
That's exactly
Man
right.
City
Yep.
5-0. Way to wake up.
Seriously, it's bloody awful.
Yep.
Okay, Chris, what sound makes you happy?
The sound of the ball hitting the net. Like when they put those microphones in there, like for hockey and for football, when you hear that swoosh right through the onion net, man.
That
everybody's like ecstatic. Well, unless it's the other team, then everybody's demise. I mean, that's a pure mood affector, that sound.
Yep.
One way
How
or the
about you,
other.
John?
VAR.
Dude, you're reading my friggin' mind tonight. This is weird. This is really, really friggin' weird. Because almost every friggin' answer that you've given tonight, I'm going, this is a bit friggin' strange. You're like the good-looking, hairy version of me.
That's not by accident. It's all a ruse. But,
is that what it is? Is that what it is?
In seriousness, the minute that they cut off the swanky bubbles playing over the tannoy system and it goes to just the supporters, that bit will give you chills.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it is beautiful, isn't it? It's like there's no team that's got that.
No.
There's no team that has that. No team at all. Chris, what's your favorite curse word?
Dickhead.
Okay, John.
It was different before it came to America, so now it's probably just shit.
So can I guess what it was when you were back home?
I'm not going to say that publicly.
Okay, shall I see you next Tuesday about that one?
Yeah, maybe. It's different culturally. People don't understand it.
It's funny. I posted it. Have you seen the video that's on Facebook by what's that comedian? And it's a song called "Everyone's a Bit of a Sometimes."
John,
everyone's a bit of a sometimes.
Your wife is American, right, John?
She is, yeah.
Yeah, American ladies do not like that word.
No, well, I found. Well, I don't want to go into an in-depth analysis of that word, but
I'll go on.
back home,
You've been on the show many times before, by the way, so
I don't know, Wayne, if it's the same with you, but it's banter towards other males. I don't think it was ever said to a female ever. But,
No, never call a female that. I mean, it'd be like, you stupid dopey.
Yeah.
I mean, it would be. It's just like it is. It's banter. It really is. Over here, it's really foul over here.
Yeah.
I tell you, the look that my wife gave me the first time I called a referee one, though, was like, she was like, "What are you saying that for?" I'm like, "Because he's a referee." So that's when I really meant it. That wasn't banter. That was when I actually meant it. Chris, what's a team you love to beat?
Spurs. I love beating Spurs. I had a friend who he's passed away now, but he was a big Spurs supporter, and we had the hugest rivalry, like every team across the board. And so we go and we watch West Ham versus Spurs, and when I would win, it was like the greatest feeling.
I do love beating them. How about you, John? Who's your team to beat?
Yeah, no, give me Lasagna Gate every year. Spurs every year.
See, I'm going to disagree with you guys. Say I love beating Man U, and I'm looking forward to us doing it, really spanking them hard this year. I hope we spank. And I tell you what, and I think we might be able to spank Chelsea like a newborn baby over my knee. I really do.
That's the one for me. It's Chelsea.
And then I can't wait to sing Big Fat Frank. I can't wait. Can't freaking wait.
If we could, and listen, I know it's unlikely, but if we could just drop like a 3-0 on them at the Olympic Stadium, oh man, woo, that would be the best day of, I don't know, very long. The best day since we beat Spurs at their stadium. Let's put it that way.
Hey, if we can win a game 3-0, that would be a great feeling.
Yeah, I think any game 3-0, right? Any game.
Yeah.
We've got a pub down here in Dallas called the Londoner. It's owned by a guy by the name of Barry, and he always texts me. He's a Chelsea supporter, and he's an old London Barrow boy. I actually used to work on the market stalls with him back in England, back many years ago. So we're friends, we're acquaintances. So he texts me whenever West Ham loses badly. So of course, first weekend he sends me a text and says, "I see you had a fun game against Man City. Looks like West Ham's back to their usual ways." I didn't answer. I thought I'm not gonna take the bait. And then of course Chelsea lose 4-0 to Manchester United the next day. And I went, looks like Chelsea has turned over a new leaf and starting to do exactly the same thing, haven't they? And the only thing I got back from him is, you're starting to fuck me right off. So I'm looking forward to spanking Chelsea. Okay. Here you go. Chris, name a player past or present day that epitomizes West Ham United.
Billy Bonds.
Oh, nice one. How about you, John?
Yeah, Billy's a great choice. Sir Trev, class.
Yeah.
Great touch, gentleman.
Yep, both of them, right?
All around West Ham.
Yeah, we had some great ones back there. We really did. Now, here's a good one for you both. Okay, Chris, if you could take a time machine back to experience anything to do with West Ham, where would you go?
Yep.
FA Cup
1980 Wimbledon.
Yep.
How about you, John?
1966 World Cup final.
Nice.
Why not?
Nice.
We won it, didn't we? Why not?
Seriously, we're the only team to ever win a World Cup final, aren't we? Seriously, that would be brilliant.
Yeah, the only English team. I don't know who played for which clubs in other countries, but yeah, the only English team to win a World Cup. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
Seriously.
Yeah, 1966 World Cup. I mean, either.
I would even go for that one 70 in Mexico against Brazil, even though we didn't win.
Yeah, we should have won
Bobby Moore.
To see Bobby Moore's tackle on.
Yeah.
Well, you remember
playing against Pele.
Do you remember all the controversy there about that, where they actually arrested Bobby Moore over the watch? They said something about he'd stolen a watch or something. Yeah. They said he'd stolen a watch. All of that was done to throw England off.
I believe that.
Yeah, for sure.
I believe that. That's like the story that Johan Cruyff told, that he was kidnapped and told that if he went to the World Cup in Argentina that somebody would kill his family or something. I mean, I don't know. I sort of believe it happened.
Yep.
Argentina in the 70s? Maybe. But yeah, the Bobby Moore thing. No, he didn't steal anything. I don't think he did. Anyway.
No, I don't think he did for 1 second. But I tell you, that put a blight on his career. It really did.
It did. It did. Yeah, it did. And
The FA shunned him after that and everything. It was awful. It was bloody awful.
West Ham shunned him after he left West Ham.
Everybody did. It was terrible.
Did not treat him well at all. Yeah.
No.
Now they make a lot of money off of his name, which anyway.
Well, in all fairness to the club as well, I mean, they do give a lot of money to the Bobby Moore Fund, so.
And it's a different ownership now. It's
Yeah.
a different. It's not the same people. It's not Terry Brown. It's a different group. So we can't really. I don't really blame them for selling Bobby Moore 6 merchandise, but I mean, it is a little, I don't know, disconcerting that the club basically turned him away completely, and now how many years? 25, 26 years after his death, we're sort of trading on his name quite a bit, but. If it goes to his foundation, if the money goes to his foundation, or a lot of it does, that's good.
The thing is, what else does West Ham have to trade on?
Well, right. I mean that and
Chris's shirt.
And let's face it, he's
Yeah.
the greatest England legend of all time, and he was ours. So
Yeah.
So yeah, there's definitely
And
reason.
St. George flags.
Yeah, and
Yeah, seriously.
I think he's been redeemed. In his posthumous years, I think whatever controversy surrounded him has pretty much gone away, and he's recognized now. He's got the statue at Wembley. He's recognized now as the greatest England legend of all time, which is as it should. So
Yeah, and that's a good thing at least. But it's I
think people always respected his football though. It's like George Best. He had a terrible personal life, but everybody respected his football.
George Best. I should tweet this. I ran across a YouTube video today of him scoring a goal in the old North American Soccer League in 1980. He was playing for the San Jose Earthquakes, and he was playing against Seattle Sounders, which I guess they both are back now in the MLS. But This was the old NASL, which was a better league, and he scores the most incredible goal I think I've ever seen. He dribbles through like 6 defenders. It's amazing. I'll find it and tweet it and get it out there at some point.
He was a great player. He was a great player.
At all, but it's just like. It's just George Best being like, you know what, I'm doing this now, so now it's going to happen. Anyway,
it makes you wonder if like back then, if they'd have mentored players back then, like they try to now,
right?
Would it have been much different? But he was such a character anyway. Some people are just they're born to be characters. Isn't that right, Chris? You and me, mate.
That's right.
Okay,
Seriously.
So before we go, I got to say, Neil just used the expression, he calls a spade a shovel. That's funny. My ex-wife's dad used to say, I don't call a spade, I call it an effing shovel. Meaning an actual spade. It's not like it's not like a racial comment. He's talking about, thing you dig with. He's the only person I ever knew who said that. And now Neil has just used that expression. And I'm wondering, did he know my ex-wife's dad somehow? Because I thought he made up that expression. Anyway, I don't call a spade a spade.
It's always possible.
I call it a friggin' shovel. Huh. Anyway, that's fascinating, and it's as good a note as any to end on, I suppose.
Seriously, I tell you, I've really enjoyed having both the lads on.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah,
John, when I come to visit my daughter up in New Jersey, I'm gonna meet you at King of Prussia, and we'll go for a pint somewhere.
Wait, your daughter's in New Jersey?
Yeah, my daughter, my 24-year-old's in New Jersey.
I didn't know you had a 24-year-old daughter.
Yep.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I've got them all over the place, mate.
Well, I was going to say that you know of, right? Yeah.
You know why? Rain is everywhere. That's why.
Rain is irresistible. That's why. Yeah, John.
I used to be.
John and Chris, we really, really appreciate having you guys on. You've been a lot of fun. Yeah, come back again. Do it again sometime. We'll have another panel chat. Join in anytime you want. Come in the chat room when other people are on, and come hang out with us. It's great to have you around. So anyway, rest of the week. I have no idea what's going on as usual. There's probably a show tomorrow that Teb's doing, I'm sure. I think we're doing one on Sunday night, and I know we're working on a couple of special episodes that we hope to get on in the next few weeks. We want to get Matthew Etherington rescheduled. I think he's going to be on with us, not this Sunday, but I think the Sunday after, something like that. We'll let you know. Working on a couple of other people who are going to be special guests. So keep a look on our website, keep a look on our Twitter and our Facebook, all that stuff, and go visit Dripware Design. Please buy a fantastic American Hammer's TV scarf, just to help us out a little bit. By the way, I just want to say this. Very quickly before we go. And yes, please subscribe. I want to say this. Because we have sold some T-shirts, because we have made a little bit of money, and we did give 20% to charity. We gave 10% to Isla Cape, and we gave 10% to the DT38 Foundation. So we've been doing that. But we have actually been able to spend a little bit of money on the show. So now, when you see this, we're using a thing called StreamYard. When you see StreamYard and it actually works better than the old Google Hangouts used to work, that's because we pay for it. Because we made a little money, we can pay for it. So anything we make off these scarves, these T-shirts, we're putting right back into the show. We're putting it into better production quality. We're putting it into traveling at some point during the season to different cities around the U.S. To hang out with different supporters groups. Maybe we'll make it down to Philly and hang out with John one day, or to Houston to be with Chris and the guys down there. So
hair care products for Lee.
Well, I always take my cut in hair care products. That goes without saying. My salary at work doesn't come through direct deposit. It just gets shipped to my house in the form of conditioner. But yeah, we are the investment that you all have helped us make through buying T-shirts and that sort of thing has helped us actually make the show better. It's made it look better. It's made it sound better. So we appreciate it. We want to keep it going. We appreciate your dedication and we appreciate John and Chris being on tonight. And it is now 10:15, which means it's like 3:30 Saturday morning or something in Australia where Neil is. So we're gonna let everybody go. John, Chris, thank you very much for being on. Wayne, as always, nice talking to you. And we'll see you all again soon. Come on, you irons.
Cheers, lads.
You got to stop the broadcast, Wayne. I can't do it.